The man accused of murdering a healthcare executive on a Manhattan sidewalk was back in court yesterday, nearly 1 year after the attack. And the FDA is planning to tighten approval standards for COVID vaccines, citing concerns about potential risks for children.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good Tuesday morning to you. I'm Caroline Mueller. Today's date is December 2nd and the time is now 6 a.m. Let's go ahead and check in with meteorologist Megan Desmel for a look at your forecast this morning. Megan, it is definitely starting to feel like winter. I know we're not there astronomically, but in your world of weather, we are there, and so it definitely feels like it.
Yeah, that's exactly correct, Caroline. Meteorological winter started yesterday, but astronomical winter is not until the 21st of this month. Either way, it is definitely a cold start to your day, and with a few flakes flying, it's definitely feeling like the holidays. Here's a look at satellite and radar this morning. Most folks still dealing with rain. However, our far western counties and northern counties are starting to see some of that snow popping out. And in fact, it looks like we're seeing some heavy snow just north of London, as well as just southwest of Louisa. Something to keep your eyes out for as you are heading out the door. And in terms of those temperatures, you can see where the snow is based on where the freezing mark is. 32 degrees is where water begins to freeze, and you're seeing that in Boonville, Jackson, Louisa, Stanton, and Moorhead is even chillier than that at 30. High temperatures today will be in a mixture of the mid-30s. Caroline.
All right, Megan, thank you. The U.S. Marshals Service is now involved in the search for a missing Wise County, Virginia high school football coach. His family says Union High School head football coach Travis Turner was last seen November 20th, walking into the woods with a gun. Turner is wanted on 5 counts of possession of child pornography and 5 counts of using a computer to solicit a minor. Additional charges are pending. The USMS is offering a reward of up to $5,000 for information that leads to his arrest. Tips can be reported to 911, Virginia State Police, or the USMS tips line at 1-877-WANTED-2 or online. Authorities say he may still be armed, so caution is advised. The man accused of murdering a healthcare executive on a Manhattan sidewalk was back in court yesterday, nearly 1 year after the attack. The 27-year-old's attorneys are asking the court to suppress evidence collected during his arrest in connection with the death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. The defense claims their client's bag was searched without a warrant and that he was not read his Miranda rights before police questioned him.
I think the case became very political in its early beginnings, and I think that raised a lot of red flags for people like me and others.
Mangione is expected back in court today. If he is eventually convicted, he could face life in prison. Mangione is also facing separate federal charges that could carry the death penalty. Trump administration officials are stepping up the diplomatic push to end the war in Ukraine. This as the U.S. continues its military buildup in the Caribbean amid scrutiny of U.S. strikes on suspected drug trafficking boats. CBS News correspondent Bradley Blackburn has the latest from New York.
President Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner and U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff are set to meet Tuesday with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow.
I think that there's a good chance we can make a deal.
For months, President Trump has been working to broker an end to the fighting sparked by Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022.
Last month, we had 27,000 people killed in that ridiculous war that should have never happened.
While that diplomacy plays out, the Trump administration is stepping up U.S. military presence in the Caribbean, moving the USS Gerald Ford aircraft carrier to St. Thomas. This comes as one of the 21 drug boat strikes on suspected narco-terrorists is now under growing scrutiny. The Washington Post reported Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth gave an order to kill everybody on board before a vessel attack on September 2nd. When 2 people survived, the Post says the Special Operations Commander overseeing the attack ordered a second strike to comply with Hegseth's instructions, and the 2 men were blown apart in the water. While Hegseth has denied he gave any such order, Democratic and Republican lawmakers are vowing to investigate.
There's a lack of clarity in what is a very significant military action.
We'll begin our oversight and get to the facts.
On Thursday, Navy Admiral Frank Mitch Bradley, who the White House said ordered the second strike, is expected to provide a classified briefing to lawmakers overseeing the military. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
President Trump met with his national security team Monday to talk about Venezuela and what the U.S. plans to do next in the region. Pope Leo XIV prayed for peace in Lebanon yesterday on the second day of his trip to the country. He arrived Sunday night in the pouring rain, not stopping the people from filling the streets and dancing and singing and playing of instruments. Pope Leo visited holy sites in Lebanon that draw both Christians and Muslims as he seeks to bring unity to a divided region. The FDA's vaccine chief says the agency plans to tighten approval standards for COVID vaccines, citing concerns about potential risks for children. In a leaked memo first reported by the New York Times and confirmed by CBS News, Dr. Vinay Prasad says a review of records links 10 children's deaths to the COVID vaccine. He did not provide data to support that claim. CBS News medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder weighed in on vaccine risks and children.
There is no definitive evidence that COVID vaccines cause death in children. No definitive evidence that COVID vaccines are dangerous for children.
Okay.
What we do know is COVID infection is dangerous. Again, over 2,000 children have died from COVID since the start of the pandemic, and that is what you want to guard against.
Myocarditis, or inflation of the heart muscle, has been linked to the COVID-19 vaccine, but studies have largely confirmed that the risk of the condition is significantly higher after a COVID-19 infection. The American Academy of Pediatrics strongly recommends COVID shots for children between 6 months and 2 years old, while the Infectious Diseases Society of America recommends the vaccine for everyone 6 months and older. In Eye on America, we look at issues facing the nation, and at the top of the list for many is affordability. On the positive side, a glut of crude has sent gasoline falling to an average of $3 a gallon for the first time in 4 years. But coffee is going the other way. And as CBS News' Mark Strassman reports, the reason is tariffs.
Get some ice in here. You got the ice drink, right?
As one of America's coffee capitals, Portland, Oregon has grounds for worry. Coffee prices have soared to historic highs.
We have bags of coffee that are $28.50. That's a lot of money for a bag of coffee.
We met Leila Gambari at Gilder Coffee Company, her specialty coffee cafe. She and her brothers practically grew up inside an espresso machine. Her father owned a coffee shop. Gambari became the 2014 U.S. Barista Champion. Now she's a small business owner grappling with another coffee expense, tariffs.
Any coffee that's already landed in the United States is still subject to the tariff.
So this is a tariff cup of coffee?
That's a tariff cup of coffee.
Coffee beans were already high thanks to supply and demand pressures for premium beans and climate issues, especially crop-killing frost. Back in April, the U.S. jolted coffee-producing countries by adding a reciprocal tariff of 10%. Gambari says that costs her roughly 50 cents a bag.
Have you made espresso before?
Nope. At the University of Oregon, Christopher Hendon's a chemistry professor with a nickname, Dr. Coffee. Hendon says these tariffs cost independent coffee operators. To the end user, the coffee drinker, not feeling it.
You probably are not feeling it. You might not care today because the price didn't change all that much, but you might care if your local cafe disappears.
Or your coffee roaster. Charlie Wicker's company, Trailhead Coffee, roasts green beans into brown ones. Tariffs hit him hard.
I had to lay off the 2 full-time employees. So now it's down to just myself and 1 part-time employee.
Was it a real gut punch?
No, the fact that we're still standing is a function of having a little bit of savings to keep the lights on.
Here's good news for America's coffee community. A few weeks ago, the U.S. reversed itself, lifting those tariffs. But relief will take time. Coffee roasters and cafes typically order beans months in advance.
The new coffees that land in our warehouse in February would be untariffed.
But not until February.
Not until February.
For Charlie Wicker, delivering to cafes, lifting those tariffs could be the coffee break he needs. For Eye in America, I'm Mark Strassman in Portland, Oregon.
And we are looking at those chilly temperatures this morning for some folks. As you take a look at the current temperatures, the low 30s are over the northern counties, 30 degrees in Moorhead, at that freezing mark, 32 in Jackson, Boonville, Stanton, Louisa, and Hazard. But for our far southern counties, take a look at those temperatures, upper 30s and low 40s. That is why we're looking at both snow and rain chances this morning, but by the time we head into the afternoon, everyone will be warming up into the mid-30s. Definitely still going to be chilly. Here's a look at that satellite and radar so you can see just where that snow is impacting. Our more northern counties is where you can expect snow, moderate to heavy in some areas, and then rain chances the farther south you travel. Caroline.
Thank you, Megan, and thank you for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News this morning. Still to come, expedition cruises like the ones in Antarctica are sailing up in popularity. We have the details on why more Americans are coming along for the ride.